like we need to break all of these issues down into sizable chunks that we can work with and have discussions about, right? So just taking a quick look back at what's happened today, what we found out about, and what we've heard from players in terms of communication and stuff. Let's try and work this out. So with the three of us here, the ESIC demerits turning into major sanctions, do we think generally that that's a fair punishment, Striker? Do you think that, like, if you, like, obviously we have the asterisks, you know, factor in the appeals, factor in all those things, right? I don't want to just blanket rule everybody, but do we think in terms of like a general punishment, hey, you guys who did it maliciously time and time again, we've determined that you no longer can be part of our events because you fucked up beyond that threshold. Everybody else, you fucked up, but we're going to give you another chance. Like, do we think that this level of punishment fits the crime?
I guess that's just down to kind of personal opinion, just because it's kind of the same thing as with the ESIC bans, right? It's literally like they're pretty much taking over. I feel like it's even like a similar scale to a degree, just because 5 majors, let's say there's 2 majors a year, that's 2.5 years, right?
A long time.
So, and the longest bans are like three years from ESIC. I think that's just like a couple of people that got that. So like those 2-year bans actually kind of align with the 5 major ban, or close to it anyway. So I guess like the scale is kind of the same as what ESIC chose, at least very close to it. So I guess from that point of view, I guess it's fair just to see them banned for like the same amount of time from like normal events compared to majors, right? Just so they come back at like a relatively the same amount of like same point in time. When it comes to the actual, like my personal opinion, it's just, to me, it's just so case based, and like whatever people like Ruga, for example, you know, are going to have to, I think, skip 1 major. I'm not entirely sure like about the specifics, right? I'm not 100% on that, but I think he will have to skip 1 major or something like that. And obviously, like he was just like 1 round or whatever had happened to him.
I think for him it isn't. It isn't. ESIC demerits 2, so that's number of cases, right?
Oh, okay. No, it's like
had
the
1
demerits
case though, right?
Yeah, demerits, but there are like, if it's above a certain amount of rounds, it's like 2 demerits, and then, or like 1 between 1 and 5. I actually don't know about Ruga. Maybe I just chose the wrong example there.
Yeah,
but there's just like a couple of people that used it, like let's say for 1 round and 3 matches or whatever, which is obviously not like in a grand scheme of things, it's not going to make a difference really. And there it's still going to be skipped because they got like 2 demerit points.
Yeah, so just in the Ruga situation, I don't know exactly how many times he did it. I thought it was just 1 round, wasn't it, for Ruga? But
give me 1 second, I can check it actually.
Yeah. Here it reads in this thing on E6, this is basically from the DK screenshots that he took. In respect of frequency of abuse, greater than 2 cases, so more than 2 cases of abuse would attribute 3 demerit points to the offending party. 2 cases of abuse would attribute 2 demerit points to the offending party, and 1 case of abuse would attribute 1 demerit point to the offending party.
Yeah, I think the only issue for me is I opened I won't pull it up on stream because it's like won't really look cool, but the PDF where it says like sanctions and outcomes.
Yes.
And there you see, like, for example, Apoka, who has 6 cases, and 2 of them were full matches. He claimed that it happened on a boot camp where he wasn't even on his PC. And then he has 2 games were like full games, 28, 29 rounds. And he has 4 more games for 1 round each. And for that, he had 6 total cases, which is permaban from majors. So that is one of these like weird situations where maybe someone could have done it, let's say, at the same time. Hunten is someone who isn't permabanned, right? When he used it for 2 games recently at a high tier, 9 rounds and 12 rounds.
Sure, I get what you're saying.
And then where does that... He isn't permabanned and this guy is. Like, where does that really kind of match up? So that's kind of the thing.
Okay, I actually just found exactly the Ruga situation. He should have 2 demerit points because he did it in 1 case and below 7 rounds. So that's 1 demerit point for each, and that's already one event ban from Valve. So he's gonna have to skip the major.
2 demerit points.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, assuming there's no concession or appeal or anything like that, I'm just using him as like the lowest example of all the coaches who like he literally just did it in 1 round, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of hoping in a way that some of these appeals and the new information that's come to light with ESIC from like, especially like Pitta, who did send a DM to Valve, like people who were showing that they were trying to, you know, make this issue known or had helped or whatever. Hopefully all those things factor in. But for the overall, for the people who did do the wrong thing, we get a bit of both. We get, if you were malicious enough that you did this continuously, obviously the case you were just bringing up there, Prof, is a little bit different, but let's use Zona as the perfect example. Zona is somebody who I'm sure that we all probably could sit here and go, yeah, I don't mind if that guy's banned forever. Like maybe I could go, no one should be banned forever, but if you were ever going to ban anybody forever,
he's probably the guy. He's probably the guy.
So like if we're going to stretch it that far, then we can have that level of discussion, right? So the demerit points, the event bans, whatever, that seems like people that to me is the punishment for the people who cheated, right? The way that Devil Walk was framing things, and the way that I think a lot of people have framed things on the internet, is that coaches who haven't done anything wrong are being punished. Now, this is where I have a harder time getting signed up to, because here's what the headline should read: coaches not banned, because the coaches, right, in general, coaching role not banned, because as far as I understand from what I'm reading here, the coaching role is not a banned position. I do not see any world, I tell a lie, I do not see a likely world where Blast, Flashpoint, ESL, DreamHack, etc. ban coaches. I don't see that world, because Valve haven't stated here at all that they are banning coaches from LAN. They've just said for the online matches of the RMR events, there are no coaches. So I don't look at that as them punishing the coaches who didn't do anything wrong. I'm looking at that as Valve removing any liability to coaches potentially doing the wrong thing. Now, I'm not a coach, so I'm not the one feeling victimized. I'm sure that they are. I've heard from them. But like I can stand back because I'm not in either of those camps, and I can look at this and I can go, I understand why they did that. Whether or not you agree with why they did it, you need to be able to understand the logic of how they got there. Now, then, once we do that, we can start having the conversation. Could they have done things better?